Hi everyone, how are you all doing? My name is Natalie. If this is the first time that you're watching my videos, thank you for being here. I am a Western tropical astrologer and I use a whole sign house system for all my forecasts and readings. In this video, we are talking about this upcoming week astrology forecast, and this video will be June 8th to June 14th. So this is an interesting week because we start off the week with, I would say, the best aspect in 2026. Although there's a slight but on the same day. We'll talk about it. But as the week progresses, we do have some rather different and unpredictable energy. So let's dive in. June 9th or June 10th for earlier time zone, we have the best aspect in 2026. We have Venus conjunct Jupiter, the two benefics, in the sign of Cancer at 25 degrees 46 minutes. So I would say if you have any planets or points in 25 degrees in the sign of Cancer, you're definitely feeling it. Or if you have planets or point close by, so I would probably give it a very tight orb. I would say 23 to 27. I wanted to say 24 to 26 to be exact, in the sign of Cancer, of course, or any cardinal signs. You might or in water signs, you know, because it will be like a trine for you, which is lovely. You will feel it more than the others. So this is really nice because we have the two benefics, Venus and Jupiter, and they are sharing a kiss in the sign of Cancer, which is a sign that they both thrive in. That's why it's so good, because you can have the two benefics join force together, but in a sign that they struggle with, then they wouldn't be as powerful. But we have both of them in the sign that they thrive in. Venus is exalted in Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. Right? Venus also loves being in Cancer, so this is great. Okay, so this is very lovely. I'm sure many of you might have seen other videos or listened to other podcasts, other astrologers that talk about it, and this is a great, lovely day. I would say, personally, if you want to launch something, if you want to start or initiate something, for example, like your business, you want to launch a new product, you want to pitch something, you want to start your own business, initiate a creative project or idea, you want to start a relationship, you know, like you want to start a hobby, learn something new, you know, this is all great. Like, I would love this energy to do all those stuff. It would be lovely. And talking about the sign of Cancer, right? Cancer is all about what we feel safe and secure, right? Is our home, our environment, our family, our ancestral history, our lineage. Cancer talks about feeling care, right? Caring for self and others, you know, while whether you are giving or receiving care, feeling nourishing yourself and others. So this is definitely a great day to really count your blessing, to be grateful, to be in the energy of gratitude, to give thanks to people that care for you, care about you and your life, and vice versa, right? It's a great day to tell them, I love you, I care about you, you mean so much to me, thank you for caring for me, right? This can be, you know, if you are a caregiver to someone, you are receiving care from someone, right? It's a great day to give thanks to all the caretakers, you know, in the world. And I truly admire them, you know, the beautiful heart that they have, the unconditional love that they have to do that job, right? It's a day about remembering, being generous, generosity, care, again, giving, receiving, nourishment, right? It's a great day to cook a nourishing meal for not just yourself, but share with others, right? Share this gift, right? Share this abundance. A day to sink into all the good things that's been happening in your life and that's about to come into your life, right? To remember, to appreciate all the good stuff in your life, to offer, to offer your care, your love, your services. Maybe this is to volunteer, if possible, to donate to any mutual aid, to give your time, to give your service to maybe charity, food bank, community, and so on and so forth, right? And the last time we have that is August 11 or 12 in earlier time zone. So maybe remember what was happening around that time. Some of us might pick up some similar themes or patterns from that time as well. And I did say there's a little but, because on the same day, we do have another aspect, which is the Mercury in Cancer square Saturn in Aries at 12 degrees. So I don't think this is like necessarily like bad thing, right? Again, I don't always refer energies like good or bad. It's mutual. They have both yin and yang, light and shadow attribute. So Mercury square Saturn, this can be a day where some of us might receive a no. It might be a rejection, a turn down, disappointment, right? While yes, it sucks to receive a no, right? To receive a rejection. But this is maybe for some of us is a redirection and even protection from the universe, for something that's more aligned, right? And maybe for some, this is a positive thing too, because you are saying no, you're rejecting because you're trying to set a boundary, draw a line, right? To protect yourself from a situation, relationship, or so on and so forth. So it can be a great thing, right? This can also be a day, because we're talking about Mercury, right? So this can be communication. This can be a day where maybe you might receive some constructive feedback or comment or maybe criticism, but maybe for your better good, right? Maybe from work or coworker, teacher, so on and so forth. But this is to help you to build, right? Saturn is wanting to help you to grow and build. So this can actually be a good thing. And for some, this is a good aspect when it comes to writing, when it comes to critical thinking, journalism, so on and so forth. This square might allow you to take action, to say something, write something about it as well. And I said, as the week progresses, there is some wild card energy. June 12th, we have Uranus in Gemini square the nodes of fate. North node in Pisces and South node in Virgo at 2 degrees. So if you have any planets point at 2 degrees in mutable signs, you will feel this more than the others, okay? Mutable signs meaning Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius. So Uranus is fast, right? It's electric, it's quick, it's unpredictable, it's that wild card energy, it's destabilizing sometimes, but it's also innovative, it's radical, it's liberating, right? So, and it can feel very faded today because of the nodes, right? The North node in Pisces and South node in Virgo. To some extent, this can be like a rude awakening, right? Like a sharp clarity, just like push, rack your brain and like, whoa, okay, well, now I really see it, right? Like, it's so loud and clear to you. It can be like a sudden realization. Maybe someone say something and it's just like, whoa, it just hit your brain like electricity current. You're like, oh, wow, I see it now. Or like that message just comes in and it just click, right? It's just right on point. Or you just suddenly realize something, see something, or you just like have this deep rooted awakening and realization, right? And Uranus in Gemini. So the Gemini house topics can be that trigger point, right? That push that comes in, that electricity that comes in that affect your Pisces and Virgo houses, themes and topics. Okay, so take a look and see what's that in your chart. So that might be a little hint for you as to what kind of message you might be receiving as well. But like I said, we're talking about Uranus. Whenever Uranus is involved, you can never truly predict what exactly will happen, because it's unexpected. It's like coming from the left field. You just never truly know. But on a collective level, you know, again, you don't exactly know. But definitely some major headline is coming up today. Maybe some unexpected, shocking, surprising news that just like, whoa, what the F, you know? And unfortunately, it can also be unexpected, surprising turn of events regarding to what's happening around the world with the ongoing wars and genocides, unfortunately, right? But hopefully, you know, I really want to pray that this is something nice, something good, something positive for the people that's suffering. Like, all I want is like, and I'm sure many of us wish and hope and pray for, is to stop, right? To have no more suffering. So let's hope and pray this surprise news is something like that, or to that direction, right? And because we're talking about Uranus, it can be, you know, tech related in some way, shape or form. Uranus is in Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So this can be news headlines surrounding themes of travels, hopefully not restriction or like some kind of, you know, bad news, but it's a square, so we never truly know. This can be about education because it's related to Gemini, it's related to Mercury, you know, journalism, anything to do with, you know, public speaking, writing, expressing yourself. This is also a day where it can be like a preview of what's to come later in July, when we have that super, again, wild card, volatile energy. But this time it will be Uranus and Mars, right? That is when Mars enters Gemini and forming a conjunction with Uranus. That is, I'm sure you might seen or heard from other astrologers, something that we really are worried about. And I know it's not the best thing to fearmonger, but I also feel like maybe this is the darkness of my Scorpio Sun and Stellium. But I do agree that sometimes we need to be scared. We need to be shaken up a little bit, because or else we won't know the severity of things, the truth around the world, and to take action and wake up, do something, say something about it. So that's why I feel like a certain amount of fear-mongering is necessary for us to pivot to the changes that we want for the greater good for all of us in this world. So who knows, right? But whatever is happening today, I also feel like it's not a one day done deal type of situation. It will maybe continue to unfold, develop, and even change down the road, you know, whether this is on a personal level or on a collective level, because of the second transit that I want to talk about, which is the same day also marks the phase 1 of Mercury retrograde journey. Today is the first day of Mercury retrograde pre-shadow. This is when it begins at 16 degrees 19 minutes. This is the phase 1. Like I said, I like to, if you watch my previous videos, you know, but Mercury retrograde journey is split into 3 phases. Phase 1 is the pre-shadow, and then phase 2, the actual retrograde, and phase 3, the post-shadow after station direct. So today marks the phase 1. It begins the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde journey, and sometime from my own personal experience and reading consultation with my clients, pre-shadow can be most of the time the messiest phase, where really, you know, things comes up, things happen, things shake, and so on and so forth. So take notes of what, you know, begins to happen, the conversation, thoughts that you're moving through, So, and also why I said what happened today might continue to unfold is because, yes, it is the pre-shadow. That means we will have retrograde. So whatever happens today, take place today, might come back, might continue to develop, because Mercury rules that Gemini, that Uranus in Gemini, and that South Node in Virgo as well. Side note, fun fact. The little orange man also have Mercury in Cancer. Mercury is in Cancer right now. And the US Sibley chart also have Mercury in Cancer. Also have a Cancer stellium, because the US Sibley chart has Cancer Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter. And Uranus in Gemini. So US is having a Uranus return. So is the orange man. So I feel like a lot will be happen in the US or about that orange man. We'll just have to see. I feel like this coming month, well, next month is very, very pivotal and important for US because of the, you know, the transit and aspect that is happening, that is hitting that US Sibley chart, and also the orange man too. So June 12 is a very active day. We have one last aspect happening. That is the Venus in Cancer square Chiron in Aries at 29 degrees. It's a critical energetic degree, so it can be quite triggering for some of us, especially if you have any plans or point aspecting that 29 degrees. I would say in Cancer, in Aries, you know, you might feel this more than the others, you know. This can be a day for some of us because, like I said, sometimes not all of us will feel all these aspects all together. Maybe some, but not all. We might feel one more than the other. And for some people, today can be this aspect that you're feeling more, which can be about your wounds surrounding relationships, that might be resurfacing, you know, maybe wounds around mother wounds, you know, your relationship with your mother or caretaker, family, your home, your ancestry, because that's what Cancer is about. So wounds, trauma surrounding those topics might come up or might resurface. For some, this can be abandonment issues, right? You know, not being cared for, or you know, this is, but at the same time, you know, I always believe that they are not here to put us down. They are coming up because it wants us to heal. It wants us to look at them, you know, give them love and accept them, embody them as part of you, because they are. And if you allow yourself to be in touch with them, you know, to hold them with love, to heal them, to see them, to witness them and accept them, they become part of you. They become your superpower. They become your gifts that you can share with others, that not just help you to heal, but help others to heal too sometimes, you know. So this is maybe also about you taking back your power to see them, to love that part of you as well. June 13th, we have Venus enters Leo at 3:46 a.m. Pacific time or 6:46 p.m. Hong Kong time. So adjust the time according to where you are in the world. Venus in Leo is that look at me energy. It's about that bold, vivacious energy. You know, it's time to be bold, to put on that colorful prints, accessories, you know, make a statement hairdo, you know, change up your color. Maybe it's a shiny and sparkly dresses, accessories, you know, a glam makeup, you know, make heads turn kind of energy. This transit is all about that. You might see yourself and others embodying that, you know, being more out there with the way you dress, you speak, you present yourself. Yeah, it's very fun, you know, it's very like vroom energy, you know, that look at me, that shining energy, take up space on the stage, you know, just shine. Venus in Leo wants to look good, loves compliment, it's never too much, you know. It's that go big, go bold, or go home, you know. Venus in Leo is fun, it's fun loving, it's like delicious, you know. And sometimes it reminds me of RuPaul. the drag queen. Like they always have this really ooh la la hairdo, you know, like that big hairdo, colorful, you know, that very volume up presence, you know, there's just something like when you look at them, it's just like, oh my god, you know, that kind of energy. So do that during this transit. Take up space, you know, and of course not all of us shine this way, but this is about what makes you shine. So maybe you don't have to do all that to shine, but find what makes you shine and do that for yourself, right? It's okay to take up space. It's okay to shine your light, you know, the way you want to. Of course, the shadow side is overdoing it, right? Venus in Leo, when it's in the shadow side, it is that very egotistic, very self-centered energy. So of course you will see light and shadow attribute. That is why we need to know all, so that we know how to work with this energy, right? Use this to boost your confidence and be out there, but also be mindful when you find yourself or other is being overboard with it as well, right? Because it can then be very intimidating for some, or people feel intimidated by you, or it just, you know, give you not the best light anymore, right? When you find yourself or others, you know, being on the other side of that Venus in Leo energy, right? And it can feel fake and superficial. So do be mindful when you work with this energy. Venus talks about relationship, right? It talks about money. So Venus in Leo love the shiny things. So be mindful with your wallet, because you might be you might embody a little bit of that indulgent big spender energy. So be mindful. Of course, you know, buy something that you always wanted to, you know, that makes you feel good, you know, but don't go out and impulsively make like 10 different purchases, you know, and indulge a little bit too much, and then you're like, oh my god, I like really wanted one dress, but I bought like 10 and now I maxed out my credit card, you know. Like, the beautiful shiny things are always very tempting, but when you go overboard with it, your wallet might suffer by the end of this transit. So do be mindful. Leo also rules the heart, so during your transit you might find yourself wearing your heart on your sleeve a little bit, or others, you know, it's a great time to express your love to others, you know, to show off your loved ones and to pursue your desires. You know, it's passionate, it's about your passion project during this transit. You know, maybe it's time to pour yourself into that passion project of yours, you know, whether it is to find your passion, it is to like let it out, to like let others to see, you know, or to start quietly in the background, whatever makes your heart sing. But at the same time, right after Venus enters Leo, the first week or so of this transit can be a little rough, because Pluto is right on the opposite side in Aquarius. So right after Venus enters Leo, is also starting to build and get closer to that exact opposition between Venus and Pluto. And that can be very triggering for some, because this is about, you know, reviewing the power struggles or dynamic within a certain situation or relationship in your life. You know, maybe this is around, you know, issues around power dynamics, like I said, in your relationships, right? About jealousy, about obsession, over something, someone, situation. It's about the hidden pattern or shadow or behavior that you have about relationships, right? So this might be a time that you might find yourself needing to take accountability, or, you know, the other person might need to, or to reclaim your power, right? If you are having a power struggle or dynamic in your situation. And maybe this is, for some, this is about reclaiming your own authenticity in a relationship or situation. And on 14, we have the new moon in Gemini happening at 24 degrees 3 minutes in the sign of oh my god, not Cancer, Gemini. So the sun and the moon is at 24 degrees 3 minutes in the sign of Gemini, and it's happening at 7:54 p.m. Pacific time, or 10:54 a.m. next day on 15 for earlier time zone, so adjust the time according to where you are in the world. This is the first time that we have a lunation in the sign of Gemini present with Uranus in Gemini, and even though they are not very close, they're both in Gemini, so there's still that backdrop energy of Uranus, this wild card energy at the backdrop for this new moon. But this is the first time that we have a lunation in Gemini that is not squaring with Neptune in Pisces, which we have for the last like 14 years, more than a decade. So that is refreshing, because even though they might not have an exact square, you know, Neptune was in Pisces for the past 14 years. So there's this sign-based square, right? There's always this like foggy or like not very clear, you know, this energy, but now it's finally gone. So that's kind of nice. So see if this new moon feel differently for you. You know, feel free to comment below and let me know. The ruler of this Gemini new moon, of course, is Mercury. Mercury right now is in Cancer, and is forming a sextile with Mars in Taurus. So this aspect in some way is helpful, right? Sextile is supportive, but of course is also needing us to take action, and Mars is action oriented, so in some way this aspect is actually really good. It's very energizing. It's giving you that confident push or boost that you need to speak your truth, right? Mercury, to speak your truth about your values, things that you believe in, especially, you know, if you were, you know, feeling iffy, or if you worry about, you know, saying it or speaking up about it. Well, this gives you that confident boost that you need to do the thing, say the thing, right? This is about giving you courage to push through. This is about Mercury in Cancer, right? This Cancer, Mercury in Cancer is a muted sign, because Mercury in all water signs, which I have Mercury in Scorpio, is not like verbal speaking. It's more about intuition. It's sensing and feeling it, you know, not like the typical Mercurial energy where you just blah everything out. It's more about your intuition, you know. You feel and sense things inside, like, you know, but sometimes you don't have the word to articulate it, right? And I feel like if you're watching my videos, right, you're interested, you're curious about astrology, and if you practice any kind of other forms of divination or spiritual practices, you know, you believe in intuition, you are intuitive, right? And you do feel and sense things, I'm sure. And we do, and we know sometimes, right? We might not have like proof, evidence, right? But we just know. And this society's norm is about proof, fact, logic is very top half of our body, right? It's about proving things, it's about logic, facts, and data, blah 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 blah, right? And I feel like this new moon is reminding us how important it is for us to listen to our intuition, and not to forget that we all have that innately within us, right? And with what is happening around the world, what's been unfolding, especially the past few years, it really wake a lot of us up, right? We see things differently, we feel things differently, we're able to see past a lot of things, right? To see beneath the surface. While many of us, you know, start to wake up and speak the truth, maybe there are still many of us that's not, that's maybe, you know, due to all kinds of reasons are not. And it's okay. It's not, I don't want anyone to feel forced that they have to do that. But many of us maybe have our own reasons to not do that. And this new moon is about giving us that confident boost. It's about trust. Know that you're not the Lulu, that your intuition is telling you what you need to know. Trust it, embrace it, and use it, right? This new moon is happening in the third decan, right? 24 minutes. It's in the third decan of the sign of Gemini, which is represented by this tarot card 10 of Swords. I know. I feel like this is one of the cards where you look at it and you just like, I can't see anything positive like about it. Seriously? Like how? He's like laying there with 10 swords up on top of him. Like how is that even positive, right? But in some ways, I think it can be. Because you see, he's been stabbed 10 times already. How many more times can he do that, right? So in some way, it's also echoing back to us. Maybe people say that, you know, oh, you're too woo-woo, you know, don't just rely on your intuition. Like, you know, what's happening is, you know, like not real. We need to like just don't care about it, you know. But how many more times can you be stabbed more before you stop denying your own truth and wake up to it, right? Your limiting belief, your self-doubt, your feeling unworthy, insecure, worried about speaking your truth. Like, how many more reasons? These swords are like reason of denying yourself, avoidance, and looking away, bypassing. How many more of these kind of swords can you stand stabbing you? It's time to not do that to yourself anymore. It's time to wake up to your own truth, embrace it, speak up, and express yourself, right? Because, and for some, this is like you are at the bottom of bottom. Like, how bad can it get? It cannot get any more worse than this. Okay? So the only way is up from now on. And see, from a distance is the sun rising up. So this is the only way is up now, right? So if something is happening in your life and you feel like you keep get, you know, beaten down, you're like, oh my God, it's like one after another, maybe perhaps rejection, disappointment, not going as you plan, blah, blah, blah. Well, this new moon is giving you that confidence, that sense of hope even, that the sun is about to rise. So don't give up. It's time to get back up from this, because these are all illusion that if you want to, you can actually wake up from it and walk to the sun and feel the warmth of the sun, right? So as cliche as it sounds, the ending is also the beginning. There is only one way and it's up now. So let's rise, let's embrace it, right? So in some way, I feel like this new moon in Gemini is also quite hopeful in some way. It's about knowing that whatever is happening in your life that feels very like, you know, is remembering the sun always rise, right? The sun will set, but then the sun will rise again. So I hope this can restore some hope in some of us if we are moving through some difficult time in our lives. And collectively, yes, we are moving through some very difficult times, you know, for the world. But I always believe that we are all here at this time for a reason. It is not to dim our life, to mute our voice. It is for us to answer our ancestor call, to speak our truth, to make their dreams come true, right? So yeah, I hope this is helpful in some way, shape, or form. This is what is happening this week. I know it's a lot. It's a bit heavy towards the end, but I am just reading astrology, but also channeling. You know, I when I do all these videos, consultations, I'm not just reading what's in front of me. I'm also being a neutral channel, speaking through my intuition, and I hope this will inspire you to do the same. You know, comment below, let me know how you find it. If you need a personal consultation, reach out to me. My information are in the description box. If you love this, I would really appreciate for you to like and subscribe. If you feel generous, if you're able to support this channel, feel free to buy me a coffee. All the link are in the description box. This is free, and I'm so grateful for this platform, for all of you to be here, to listen to my astro babble, and I hope it helps you in some way, shape, or form. And I'm just sending you lots of love. New moon blessing. I might do a live on Instagram on that lovely Venus-Jupiter conjunction day. So remember to follow me over on Instagram as well. Sometime I will do like impromptu pick a card, or just quick astro Q&A. So follow me there. I might pop up live over there next week sometime. I don't know yet, but I will definitely announce it over there on Instagram. So in the meanwhile, I love you all so much. See you next time. Bye.